Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today is April 8th, 2024. As every morning, the Lord is present in my house through His holy light and His teaching of the knowledge. Knowledge means knows. According to Jesus Christ and His disciple teaching. Today we will focus on changing destiny. As you know, when God touched you, you are transformed to follow Him. You are not going with the human body. We are dealing with the spiritual body, which is invisible. So we don't see the spirit. We don't touch the spirit. But we touched Jesus Christ for those who live it during His lifetime. So, you remember when I went in 2000 to Chan, the mountain of that great monastery, where I received 25 books, call it Changing Destiny, wrote by Liao Fang. And this changing destiny was the Liao Fang's 4 lessons, which were commented by Venerable Master Ching Kung. It is called his call is translated by silent voices. As we are decide to fight with God's decision, we think we are powerful than Him. All His plans, you are fighting to destroy it. To destroy them, sorry. The Lord is back to settle the world and to set up His own news, which means knowledge. Because we don't know who is God. So, after the winds of colonization, God is bringing peace, justice, and prosperity. Let us open this book that I received, and I always quote it. In front of our Lord, we have Changing Destiny Contents. The book is here. The book is there. Here we are in the traditional phase. In China, where I discovered my roots from Cameroon to China. The first lesson, we put introduction. Let us introduce first to understand. In the 16th century in China, Mr. Liao Fan Wang wrote Liao Fan's 4 lessons with the hope that it would teach his son, Qiang Qi Yuan, how to understand the true face of destiny, tell good from bad, correct his faults, and practice good deeds. It also provided living proof of the benefits from practicing good deeds and cultivating virtue and humility. In relating his own experience in changing destiny, Mr. Liao Fan Yuan was an embodiment of his teaching or embodiment. Sorry for the pronunciation of his teaching. The title of this book is Liao Fan's 4 Lessons. Liao means understanding and awakening. Liao means understanding and awakening in Chinese language. Fan means that if one is not a sage, such as a Buddha, Bodhisattva, or Arhat, then one is an ordinary person. So, Liao Fan means to understand that it is not enough to be an ordinary person. We should be outstanding. When unvirtuous thoughts arise, we need to gradually eliminate them. There are 4 lessons or chapters in this book. The first lesson shows how to create destiny. The second lesson explains the ways to reform. The third reveals the ways to cultivate goodness. And the fourth discloses the benefits of the virtue of humility. This first lesson of learning to create destiny is a topic of interest to many people who believe that wealth or poverty, long life or short life, all is predestinate. If someone had accomplished good deeds in his or her past lives, then naturally in this life he or she will live a wealthy and long life. On the other hand, if someone had been a bad person and committed bad deeds in his or her past life, then in this life he or she will live a poor and short life. However, there are exceptions. Destiny can be changed. If we were originally destined to be rich with a long life, but had committed excessive offenses, then without having to wait until the next life to bear the consequences, we will become poor with a short life. On the other hand, if we were originally destined to be poor with a short life, but had accomplished exemplary deeds, then without having to wait until the next life, we will become wealthy with a long life. From ancient times until now, there have been many examples of this in history. Although everything that we are subjected to in this life is the result from our behavior and and from our behavior in our past lives and has already been predestined, it is not necessarily constrained by destiny. We can still modify it with our current behavior. Although Liao Fang's Four Lessons is not a Buddhist sutra, we need to respect and praise it as one. In the early part of this century, great master Yin Guan, the 13th patriarch of the Pure Land School, dedicated his whole life to its promotion and oversaw the printing of millions of copies of it. Not only did he unceasingly advocate this book, but he also studied it, practiced what it quoted, and lectured on it. As Buddhists, we are taught to refrain from all that is bad and to do all that is good, to purify our minds. This is the Dharma seal, the criteria we can use to determine the genuineness of Buddhist teachings or truths. Buddhist sutras, which speak of principles and reasoning, are spoken by 5 types of people. Buddha, in his case, Buddha Shakyamuni. His students, heavenly beings, immortals, and manifested beings. As long as what has been said has the same meaning and objectives as those of the teachings of the Buddhas and those not contradict them, the Buddhas, with their great broad mindedness, will recognize them as sutras. Thus, we should regard and respect as a sutra any work that conforms to the principles in Buddhism. And this is especially so far this book, which was certified and advocated by Great Master Yin Guan. It can help to serve as our foundation in learning Buddhism. But even more important, it can also serve as foundation for non-Buddhists in helping them to learn how to change their destiny. I read again. It said, and this is especially so for this book. Let's go back. As long as what has been said has the same meaning and objectives as those of the teachings of the Buddhas and does not contradict them, the Buddhas, with their great broad-mindedness, will recognize them as sutras. Thus, we should regard and respect as a sutra any work that conforms the principles in Buddhism. And this is especially so for this book, which was certified and advocated by Great Master Yin Guan. It can help to serve as our foundation in learning Buddhism. But even more important, it can also serve as a foundation for non-Buddhists in helping them to learn how to change their destiny. There is much to learn about creating destiny, including principles and methods, all of which are contained within this book. Small in size, its impact can be far-reaching. Therefore, if we would like to create our destiny or to truly achieve attainment through the practice of Buddhism, we need to accord with the principles and methods contained within it. I got permission to multiply, to translate in several languages, whatever I want with this book. I got this book with authorized permission to distribute it without selling any of the copies that I will be sharing with the whole world. For the whole world needs transformation. And also, the whole world needs to rediscover their destiny. Let us start with the first lesson: learning to create destiny. In this lesson, Mr. Liao Fang related to his son, his own experiences and those of others in changing destiny. He wanted his son to put his best efforts into practicing goodness and ending his incorrect behavior. This book is destined to us, the modern world. He also wanted his son to form his destiny and not be bound by it. Yes, this is also needed in our behavior, in our lifestyles, and so on. For in forming destiny, we are not controlled by it. For in forming destiny, we are not controlled by it. We continue our reading. Rather, we control destiny. Therefore, the lesson of learning to create destiny discusses the principles behind fact and knowledge necessary to change it. Yours, according to Jesus Christ's teaching, which means knowledge. Here, therefore, the lesson of learning to create destiny discusses the principles behind fact or faith and the knowledge necessary to change it. For example, as pure land practitioners, if we are able to follow this method, we are assured of attaining a happy and fulfilling life and of being born into the Western pure land. Mr. Cohn's accurate prediction. Mr. Cohn's accurate predictions. Let us hear. My father passed away when I was young. My mother persuaded me to learn medicine instead of studying and passing the imperial examinations, because it will be a good way to support myself while helping others. Perhaps I could even become famous through my medical skills, thus fulfilling my father's aspiration for me. Okay. Now, in ancient China, the purpose of studying and passing the imperial examinations was to become a government official. Thus, to stop studying for the examinations was to give up any chance to work in the government. Studying medicine will enable one to have a skill that will provide a good living in addition to helping others. It was very important to choose the right career. At that time, teachers did not charge a set fee, but accepted whatever was offered. Wealthy families gave more, poor families gave less. As long as the student was sincere in honoring the teacher and respecting the teachings, the amount given was not important. And the same applied to doctors. Their goal was to save lives, to do their very best to make others well. The payment for this was left up to the patient. Both teachers and doctors were dedicated to helping others. Consequently, in ancient China, teachers and doctors were highly respected. Let us listen. One day, I met an elderly but distinguished looking gentleman at the compassionate cloud temple. He had a long beard and such a long of a sage that I immediately paid my respect to him. He told me, "You are destined to be a government official. Next year, you will attain the rank of learned first level scholar. Why are you not studying for the examination?" I told him the reason. This segment tells of Mr. Liao Fang's opportunity to learn how to change his destiny. It described his meeting with an elderly gentleman at the Compassionate Cloud Temple. This gentleman had a very handsome countenance, was tall, and had an elegant celestial air. His simply did not look like an ordinary person. Thus, Mr. Liao Fang naturally paid his respects to him. Because the elderly gentleman could foretell the future, he immediately knew that Mr. Liao Fang should have been studying and needed to do so as soon as possible. In the past, before the government employed someone, examinations were held for all the candidates. After passing the first entrance entry examination, the students would then be sent to various county schools to study. Now let us listen to Fang. I asked the elderly gentleman his name and where he was from. He replied, "My last name is Kong. I came from Yunnan province. I have inherited a most sacred text on astrology by Zi. It is called the Imperial Standard of Governing the World. Zi developed the art of prediction very well. By calculations, I am supposed to pass it on to you and teach you how to use it. Zi was a scholar from the Song dynasty. You will call it Zhou dynasty. Song dynasty, approximately 1,000 years ago. He was a well-known, highly respected intellectual of his time. The sacred text on astrology is a lengthy book that has been compiled with others into the complete library in 4 divisions. This mammoth collection of 1,500 volumes covers 4 areas: classics and sutras, history, governmental management, and literature. The content of Chao Zi's book is completely in accordance with the principles in 1 I Ching, the book of change, the I Ching, the book of changes, and predicts the future through mathematical calculations. The predictions in the book covered extensive subjects and areas, including changes in countries and the world, the prosperity and decline of a dynasty, the good fortune and misfortune of an individual could all be completely extrapolated from mathematical calculations. This is a book of profound knowledge based on a precise science and is therefore both logical and believable. Everybody, everything has a set destiny. Buddha Shakyamuni taught us that this is due to the law of cause and effect. As long as we give rise to a cause, be it a thought, a word, or an act, a result that is a set destiny will follow. Only when the mind is absent of thought can we transcend the predestination of the numbers. Why are practitioners with high levels of achievement often able to transcend? Because they are able to achieve deep concentration. And in this deep concentration, their minds do not give rise to any thoughts. Without thoughts, we will not be controlled by the predestination of the numbers. So, we know that as long as we have thoughts, we will be bound by the mathematics. A highly skilled person is able to predict our future in detail through these calculations. The lives of we ordinary beings are predestinate. Again, the lives of we ordinary beings are predestinate. arhats or other sages with a higher level of spiritual enlightenment who have already transcended the 6 realms of reincarnation are thus able to transcend their fate. Are the heavenly beings in the form and formless heaven realms who have achieved the 4 meditation states and 8 concentration levels able to transcend their fate? Yes, for in their state of deep concentration, the mathematics cannot affect them. But this ineffectiveness is only temporary. Once they lost this state of deep concentration and again give rise to thoughts, they are again bound by the mathematics. And this is why they have never been able to permanently transcend the 6 realms of reincarnation. If the strengths of their concentration enabled them to transcend the 6 realms and advance to the 9th concentrate level to become a non-regressive arhat, then they will no longer be bound by the mathematics. Once we understand these principles and know that everything is predestinate, we will look at this world with a non-discriminatory mind. We will never be pleased with favorable circumstances, nor be displeased with unfavorable circumstances, because everything is predestinate. Therefore, I invite Mr. Kong to my home and asked my mother about him. My mother asked me to treat him very well. We then tested Mr. Kong's ability at prediction. He was always correct, whether it was for big events or for small everyday matters. Therefore, I became convinced of what he had said about my destiny and again began to think of studying for the examinations. I consulted with my cousin Shen Sheng. He recommended a teacher, Mr. Yao Gu Yu, who was teaching at the home of a friend, Mr. Yu Fu Sheng. I thus became his student. Mr. Liao Fang invited Mr. Kong to his house, and being a filial son, told his mother about him. His mother asked him to take good care of Mr. Kong and to test his authenticity. When someone tells us something, we need to check its validity. When someone tells us something, we need to check its validity before believing it. Mr. Liao Fang did so and found Mr. Kong's predictions to be accurate. Thus, he was convinced and naturally took Mr. Kong's advice. In the past, schools were not common like there are today. Before the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty in China, instructions took place at a private home school. Usually, there was only one teacher instructing 20 to 30 students. There were no high schools, only public universities. Students studied very hard with a private tutor to be able to sit for the examination to attend a government managed university. At this time, Mr. Liao Fang's cousin had a friend named Hai Gu Yu, who was teaching at Yu Fu Shen's home. Perhaps Mr. Shen was a wealthy individual who had several empty rooms in his house to be used as classrooms and whom employed teachers to instruct his children as well as those of relatives and friends. So, Mr. Liao Fang became a pupil of Mr. Yu and began his studies to prepare for the examination. Mr. Kong then did some more calculations for me. He told me that as a scholar, I will place 14 in the county examination, 71st in the regional examination, and 9th in the provincial examination. The following year, at the 3 examination places, I placed it exactly as Mr. Kong had predicted. Mr. Kong predicted Mr. Liao Fang's immediate destiny and told him that he would rise through several stages of examinations to become a scholar. Therefore, whether it was passing or failing an examination or what rank he would attain, everything was predestined. Thus, the results of the examinations in the second year were exactly as predicted. So again, everything was as expected. I then asked him to make predictions for my entire life. Mr. Kong's calculations showed that I will pass such and such test in such and such year, the year that I will become a civil scholar, equivalent to a high school student, and the year that I will receive a promotion to become an imperial scholar, equivalent to a university student. And lastly, I will be appointed as magistrate in Sichuan province. After holding that position for 3.5 years, I will retire and return home. I will die at the age of 53 on August 14th, around the hours of 1 to 3 a.m. Unfortunately, I will not have a son. I recorded everything that he said and carefully set it aside. At that time in history, the government provided high school and university students with an allowance. Living expenses were supplemented by rice, similar to a food ration. Excessive rice could be sold. Every region had a set number of positions available. Only when there was a vacancy could the position be filled. From Mr. Kong's predictions for Mr. Liao Feng, we can see that everything is destined. Every day, every month, when and how we will live, when and how we will die, all is destined. No matter how we may try to shame or plot, on ordinary people cannot escape their destiny. After that, the outcome of every examination turned out exactly as predicted. Mr. Kong had also predicted that I will only be promoted after receiving a ration of 91 dan and 5 du of rice. However, I had received only 70 dan of rice when the Commissioner of Education Mr. Tu recommended me for a promotion. I secretly began to doubt Mr. Kong's predictions. Nevertheless, the prediction turned out to be correct after all, because Mr. Tu's replacement turned down the promotion. It was not until some years later that a new education commissioner, Mr. Ying, reviewed my old examination papers and exclaimed, "These 5 essays are as well written as reported to the emperor. How can we bury the talents of such a great scholar?" Yeah. How can we bury the talents of such a great scholar? When Mr. Liao Feng's salary reached 70 dan of rice, Mr. Tu approved his promotion. Mr. Liao Feng started to adopt the predictions. However, after his approval, either by promotion or transfer to another position, there was a substitute, Mr. Tu's place. And this person, not agreeing with Mr. Liao Feng's promotion, overruled it. It was a few years later that an official, Mr. Yin, went through the papers that had failed the examination. These papers were kept and reread occasionally in the hope of finding overlooked talent. He read Mr. Lao Feng's paper and was very impressed with them. He felt they were as well written as official reports to the emperor. These reports were similar to recommendations from government officials to the emperor to be accepted or rejected by the court. It is thus evident that Mr. Liao Feng was very knowledgeable and that his papers were extremely well written. The commissioner wanted the magistrate to issue an order for me to become a candidate of imperial scholar under his authority. After undergoing this eventful promotion, my calculations showed that I had received exactly 91 dan and 5 du of rice. From then on, I deeply believed that promotion or demotion, wealth or poverty all came about in due time, and that even the length of one's life is prearranged. I began to view everything in a detached manner and ceased to seek gain or profit. I read it again. From then on, I deeply believed that promotion or demotion, wealth or poverty, all came about in due time, and that even the length of one's life is prearranged. I began to view everything in a detached manner and ceased to seek gain or profit. Imperial students had all of their expenses paid by the government, but were expected to work for the government once their schooling was completed. From this incident, we can see that Mr. Tu was not an ordinary person. He had wanted to promote Mr. Liao Feng the instant he read his examination papers. However, his replacement overruled the promotion. Two people with different opinions. Mr. Liao Feng was obviously very talented, but although we may be very talented, we still need the appropriate conditions, whether fact, time, or cause and condition. Everything is destined. Mr. Liao Feng had to wait until another government official read his papers for the proper conditions to mature in order to receive his promotion. From then on, Mr. Liao Feng was awakened and truly understood. Our good or bad fortune, good or bad luck, wealth or poverty, everything is predestinate. Ordinary people cannot change destiny. If we are not supposed to have something, no amount or trying to get it will success for long. But if we are supposed to have it, we will naturally receive it. Understanding this, Mr. Liao Fang no longer had any thoughts of demand, any thoughts of gain or loss. His mind was truly at peace as mine. We can say that at this point, as an ordinary person, he was perfect. Today, people do not even meet this standard of being ordinary. Why? Our minds are not pure, and we constantly have wandering thoughts. On the other hand, Mr. Liao Fang did not have wandering thoughts, since he already knew everything that was going to happen in his life. Ancient sages said that, I quote, "A person of noble character and integrity is happy to be a noble person, but it is not worth the effort of a bad person to be bad." Why? Because a wise and virtuous person knows that one sip or one beat, everything is destined. Again, because a wise and virtuous person knows that, I quote, one sip or one beat, everything is destined. It is not worth the effort to be bad, risking all in seeking satisfaction. Everything he or she has gained through shaming and plotting was something they were already meant to have. Thus, it is not worth the effort to use improper means to obtain it and then to suffer the consequences. Ordinary people are bound by their fate. At this time in his life, Mr. Liao Fang only knew about destiny. He did not yet know that there was a variable, that destiny could be changed. By practicing in accordance with true principles and methods, we can change our destinies. We will then be able to attain whatever we wish, as we ourselves become the masters of our own fates. In order to attain wealth, we practice the giving of wealth. To attain intelligence and wisdom, we practice the giving of teachings. To attain long lives and well-being, we practice the giving of fearlessness. These are the correct ways to change our destiny. By following the correct principles and methods, we can attain whatever we want, even perfect, complete enlightenment, much less small worldly enjoyments and happiness. After being selected as an imperial scholar, I was to attend the university at Beijing. During my year-long stay in the capital, my interest in meditation grew, and I often sat silently without giving rise to a single thought. I lost interest in books and did not study at all. Mr. Liao Fang was now practicing meditation every day in Beijing. From this, we can see how peaceful and quiet his mind had become. When the mind is quiet and at peace, wisdom will naturally arise. The wisdom of most people is non-functional because their minds are not pure. Mr. Liu Fang was able to remain calm and serene because knowing his entire destiny. We knew that it was useless to even think about it. Without wandering thoughts, his mind naturally became settled. Master Jung's advice on changing destiny. The following years, I went to Nanjing before I was to enter the National University of Nanjing. I paid a visit to Master Yungu, a venerable Zen master at Qixia Mountain. Qixia Mountain. We sat in meditation face to face in the Zen half for 3 days and 3 nights without sleep. Master Yungu said, I quote, "The reason why ordinary people cannot become sages is because they have too many wandering thoughts running through their minds. In our 3 days meditation, I have not observed a single thought arise in you. Why?" I replied that Mr. Kong had clearly predicted the entire outcome of my life. I had seen that the time of life, death, promotion, and failure are all predestinate. There was no use or need for me to think about it or to desire anything. The master smiled and replied, I quote, "I thought you were someone of remarkable capabilities. Now I realize you are just an average, ordinary person." Master Yungu was a well-known great Zen master. Mr. Liao Fang went to Qixia Mountain to visit him. They sat face to face in the meditation hall for 3 days. They never slept nor became tired. Why? Because they did not have any wandering thoughts, and thus they were able to conserve all of their energy. Master Yungu told him to be extremely young to achieve this difficult and rare level of cultivation. Ordinary people are unable to become artists or attain higher levels of achievement because they have too many wandering thoughts. The flower adornment sutra tell us that, I quote, all sentient beings, no, all sentient beings have the same wisdom and virtues capabilities as the Buddha, but because of wandering thoughts and attachments, all unable to uncover them. So, the root cause of not being able to become a sage is wandering thoughts. Feeling confused by what Master Yu Gung said, I asked him to explain. He told me that an ordinary person's mind is forever occupied by wandering and imaginary thoughts. So naturally, their life is bound by Qi, the energy of yin and yang, as well as destiny. We cannot deny the fact that it exists, but only ordinary people are bound by it. Destiny cannot bind those who cultivate great kindness, nor can destiny bind those who have committed flagrant bad deeds. He told me that for the past 20 years, I had lived my life just as Mr. Kong had predicted and had done nothing to change it. Instead, I became bound by destiny. If I was not considered an ordinary person, who was? Taken aback, I asked Master Wungu if it was true that we can change our destiny. The master answered, we create our own destiny. We seek our own good fortune. It is the true teaching and says so in the book of Songs and the book of History. Full stop. Master Wugung explained that if one has not yet attained the state where there is no single wandering thought, then one is still bound by destiny, is still at the mercy of fate. Why? If a person were to reach the state of no thought, then he or she will transcend the control of fate. Did Mr. Liu Fang reach this state of no thought? No. He simply did not wish to think about anything, realizing the futility of doing so. But he still had wandering thoughts, still thought, quote, I do not need to think about anything. My whole destiny has been foretold, thus I clearly know my whole life. Full stop. Having yet to reach the state of no thought, we are still bound by our fate. Profound, deep concentration is not achievable by average people in our world. When the Zen patriarch Huang Ti or Wang Bi was in the state of deep concentration, he was able to break through the dimensions of time and space. At this point, the past, present, and future all become one entity in which everything is visible without the slightest, as we see now. I repeat, at this point, the past, present, and future all become one entity in which everything is visible without the slightest error. Using mathematics to deduce the future is achievable by ordinary people in this world. To be able to actually see the past, present, and future is not. It requires deep concentration to reach the state of being able to see the future. This is only achievable by beings higher than the third state of sagehood in Theravada Buddhism. Master Yungu told Mr. Liao Fang that only ordinary people are bound by destiny. However, destiny cannot control those who have accomplished numerous exemplary deeds. Neither can it control those who have committed excessive flagrant offenses. Mr. Liao Fang had been bound by Mr. Kong's predictions for 20 years. He had done nothing to change them, and so he was indeed an ordinary person. A person of great virtue also has a set destiny, but he or she has changed it. The same applies to those who have committed excessive offenses, for they too will have changed their destiny. We can see that Mr. Liao Fang did not cultivate either extremely good or bad deeds, since his life accorded so completely with what had been predicted. Can fate be changed? Can we escape it? Yes. To escape it is to transcend. There are variables in the set numbers, and the set numbers were what Mr. Kong had predicted. The variables are within our control, but this is either what Mr. Kong did not know or could not calculate. We can create our destiny. We can seek our own good fortune. There are variables within the set numbers, And this is what Mr. Liao Fang did not know about. Did Zen Master Yugung agree there were set numbers? I read again. Did Zen Master Yugu agree there were set numbers? Yes. Before a person achieves the state of no thought, he or she is bound by destiny. Master Yung Gu completely accepted the concept of predestination. However, we can change our own destiny and thus we create it. Buddhism is not about predestination. It is about recreating destiny. But we can only depend on ourselves to do this, to become awakened. Nobody else can change our destiny for us. Destiny is created by ourselves. This is a quotation. Destiny is created by ourselves. And we seek our own good fortune. This is another quotation. We seek our own good fortunes. Since Mr. Liao Fang was an intellectual, he knew much about the teachings of Confucius. And so, the master cited principles from the book of Songs and the book of History to enlighten him. Master Yungu understood these teachings and confirmed them to be important and true. In the Buddhist teachings, it is written that if we wish for and seek wealth, position, a son, a daughter, long life, we can attain them. Since lying is one of the greatest offenses in the Buddha's teachings, we can be assured that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have no reason to deceive us. In Buddhism, it is said that, I quote, in seeking wealth, one will attain wealth. In seeking children, one will attain children. Full stop. Even if we were not meant to have any children in this life, upon practicing good deeds, we can have a child. Quote, in seeking long life, one will attain long life. Full stop. Mr. Liu Fang was only meant to have a short life, was supposed to die at 53. By cultivating according to the teachings, whatever we seek, we will attain. Buddhism encourages us to create our own destinies rather than be constrained by them. Living Buddha Master Zhang Jia said that, quote, in Buddhism, all our sincere pleas shall be answered. He elaborated further. Some people are unable to get what they want. Why? They did not accord with the teachings. If we understand the principles and methods and have sought something in accordance with the teachings, then we are assured of receiving a response to our request. If we do not receive the desired response after having accorded with the teachings, it is due to our karmic obstacles. Once we have successfully eradicated these karmic obstacles, we will be able to gain the desired result. As Master Zhang Jia said, Zhang Jia said, there is nothing we cannot receive once we seek it properly. Once we understand the fundamental principles, we will understand what everything in this world and beyond arises from our minds and changes due to our perceptions. Again, once we understand the fundamental principles, we will understand that everything in this world and beyond arises from our minds and changes due to our perceptions. If we seek to become Buddhas, we will become Buddhas. If we seek to become heavenly beings, we will become heavenly beings. Everything accords with the minds. The Flower Adornment Sutra tells us that we should observe the nature of the Dharma ram as everything is created by the mind. So, we should observe the nature of the Dharma realm as everything is created by the mind. Therefore, the way of seeking is to accord with the principle that everything arises from our mind, is changed by our perception, our consciousness. A most suitable and perfect method is the teachings of the Buddha. If we were to seek youth, health, eternal life, in accordance with these teachings, can we attain them? Certainly. Master Yun Gu only taught Mr. Liao Fang some of the knowledge. Remember, in Christianity, remember that knowledge in Christ's teaching is Gnosis. The Gnostic teaching teach knowledge. Here we see also how Buddha Buddhism, teach knowledge. We see also Master Jia. All of them teach knowledge. Okay, because Mr. Liao was not very ambitious. No, we can say, certainly, Master Yung Gu only taught Mr. Liao Fang some of the knowledge. Okay, it is where we were. Because Mr. Liao Fang was not very ambitious and only sought worldly fame, wealth, and prestige, the master only taught him this limited part. The master told him that lying is one of the worst offenses in Buddhism. There are 4 fundamental precepts or rules: no killing, stealing, lying, or sexual misconduct. Since no lying is one of the fundamental precepts, how could the Buddha lie? How could he deceive us? Thus, it is the truth when the master told him that whether seeking children, wealth, or long life, all could be obtained, as Mr. Liao Fang had distinctly practiced it by following the master's guidance. He obtained what he sought. I then said I had heard that Mencius once said, I quote, "Whatever is sought can be attained. The seeking is in ourselves." This refers to inner qualities such as virtue, responsibility, and kindness. These are all qualities we can work toward. However, when it comes to outside factors such as wealth, fame, and prestige, how can we seek to obtain them? The master replied that Mencius was correct, but that I had misinterpreted his meaning. Enhancing our inner qualities to become sages and virtuous people is within our control. But how do we seek fame, wealth, and prestige? These are external commodities and are also attainable. Whatever we do not have, such as fame or wealth, we can attain by seeking. So it would seem to be destined. Because if we are not destined to have something, how could we seek it? This follows most people's understanding of destiny, a constant in predestination. The constant is the cause that we have created in our past lives and the result that we should receive in this life. We do not yet know that there are variables within the constants, that the results will change with the addition of variables. Indeed, fame, wealth, and prestige are attainable by us. Master Yungu said that Master Wi Neng, the sixth patriarch of the Zen school, taught, I quote, all the fields of merit are within one's own heart. If one seeks from the true mind within, one can be in touch with all other wishes for. Stop. By seeking inside ourselves, we will not only attain the inner qualities of virtue, responsibility, and kindness, but we can also attain wealth, fame, and prestige. To be able to attain both on the inside and the outside is beneficial to our reward. Since ancient times in China, the Platform Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, and the Surangama Sutra have been acknowledged as eminent as an eminent literary works. I read again, it is not a question. Since ancient time in China, the Platform Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, and the Surangama Sutra have been acknowledged as eminent literary works. The eloquent Platform Sutra was written by a Chinese patriarch. Thus, to the Chinese, it is particularly important. We cannot think of it as solely a sutra of the Zen school. It is an overview, of Buddhism as a whole, and also could be said to be Master Yu Neng's report of what he had learned through his study and practice. Study and practice. Whether attaining something outside of ourselves, such as material objects, or inside ourselves, such as virtues, we still need to seek from inside, from the mind, not from the outside. It will be incorrect to seek from the outside. Why? The outside factor is a constant, so it does not change. The mind is a variable, so it is not constant. It changes. For 20 years, Mr. Liao Feng did not have wandering thoughts. Thus, his mind could be considered as having been pure, not knowing of the variables. His mind accorded completely with the constants. Thus, the 20 years of his life were exactly as Mr. Kong had predicted. Everything accurate without the slightest deviation. This was because he did not understand the principle of variable. This was because he did not understand the principle of variables. Mr. Yungu taught the principle that, quote, the seeking is in ourselves. Okay. Virtue, morality, kindness, and responsibility are on the inside. They are the cultivation of virtuous conduct. Fame, wealth, and prestige are on the outside. They are the enjoyments in life. To be able to receive both kinds of benefits is invaluable. As is said in the Flower Adornment Sutra, quote, not to be hindered in the matter of existing things or reality principles. Again, I read, flower, as is said in the Flower Adornment Sutra, not to be hindered in the matter of existing things or reality principles is the ultimate and perfect employment, the great perfection of both the inside and the outside. It is when everything is going as we wish. It is when we are satisfied with everything. It is to be liberated. It is to do all that is benevolent, all that is noble as we wish. If we cannot attain such wonderful results, then no one will want to practice Buddhism. Buddhism is neither negative nor passive. It is eminently practical. Nowadays, there is nothing more practical than the practice of Buddhism, for it addresses reality, addresses something truly attainable. It is crucial that we understand the importance of Buddhism to derive the benefits from it. The truth is that people have misunderstood Buddhism and thus have missed these benefits. If we are able to personalize, to personally experience them, then we will know that of all teaching, Buddhism is a most remarkable and beneficial education. Buddhism is a most remarkable and beneficial education. It is it is definitely not outdated and is as appropriate now as it was 3,000 years ago. It is fitting for all people, whether in the East or in the West. Master Yungu then told me that if one cannot reflect inside one's own heart, but instead blindly seek fame, fortune, and long life from outside sources, although one may pursue them by using intelligence, one can only attain as most as one can only attain at most what destiny had entitled one to. To do otherwise, one may lose both inner purity and what one was predestinate to have. Then this seeking will have been in vain. This is pertinent for our world today. Can everybody or can everyone attain what they are seeking? No. If we attain something, it is because we were destined to have it. Only when we receive what we were not destined to have can it be said that we have gained what we sought. It does not count when we receive what we were supposed to have, for we will have attained it without having intentionally sought it. For example, someone tells us that investing in the stock markets is very profitable because they made millions of dollars a year in it. This person simply gained what he or she was supposed to gain. Others who are not destined to make money will simply lose it in stock market. Not everyone profits from it. If every investor profits, then who loses? Likewise, money won from gambling is something the gambler was meant to have. Even the thief was meant to have that was stolen. If it had not been destined, then he would not have been successful in stealing it. The ancients understood this. Thus, they said that, quote, a person of noble character and integrity is happy to be a noble person. But it is not worth the effort for a bad man or a bad person to be bad. Why? They will not be able to escape destiny, the constant. If we could just really understand the principles, then all of us will be content with what we have. In this way, we will enjoy a fulfilling life. Society will be stable. The world will be peaceful, and there will be no more conflicts, no more wars. Buddhism teaches us to seek for something not destined in our lives, not thinking the constant. What we are able to attain from seeking comes from the variable. How does we seek? From outside. This is crucial in our world today. Seeking from outside. Thank you, Lord. You can see how he's clinking. This is crucial in our world today. Today, we are unable to seek awakening and to develop great virtue from the inside. We need to follow the right path. We seek from the outside. We plan and shame everything, every day. Again, this is crucial in our world today. Today, we are unable to seek awakening and to develop great virtue from the inside. Why? We do not yet understand. We seek from outside. We plan and shame everything. But in seeking, we need to follow the right path. For even if we have the method, the plan, the means, then what? In attaining, we merely attained what we were supposed to attain. Very simple. If we were not supposed to have it, we will not get it. All that we have attained was destined, was the constant. Mr. Lao Fang understood there was a constant, so he did not worry. He did not use various improper ways to seek. He knew his own destiny. He knew that to give rise to wandering thoughts or to use whatever means possible was doomed to fail if it was not supposed to be. To be at a loss inside and outside. Quotation. To be at loss inside and outside. What is the inside? The impure mind. How would we not give rise to afflictions when our seeking on the outside is frustrated? For 20 years, Mr. Lao Fang conformed to Mr. Kong's predictions. Consequently, he did not lose the inside. He lost the outside because he did not think of anything, did not seek anything from the outside, but maintained a state of contentment and purity in mind. Everything on the outside is controlled by fat. Everything in the inside is controlled by us. Average people who fought tooth and nail to seek things from the outside will find that their knowledge and experience were incomparable to those of Mr. Liao Fang. He had achieved perfect peace in mind. Ordinary people end up with afflicted and unsettled minds. Whatever they attained was something they were destined to have. Thus, they lost both inside and outside. For if one does not gain, one loses. thus ending up worse off than before. And then there is no benefit at all. Now, we will first stop here and continue with another video, because the ways of changing destinies. The next is to acknowledge our faults. Thank you, Lord. We pass to a new video. I'm Dr. Ndomo Melingi Therese, servant of our Lord Almighty God, creator of everything which is in the heaven and in the earth, or under the earth, where you have rivers and you can have the sea. Today is, as we can see, we are today April 9th. Today is Tuesday, April 9th. We are under the Lord guidance and teaching. I'm Dr. Ndomo Melingi Therese, servant of God Almighty and his chosen person or people. Let us continue. And you can see how the Lord is clinking, because I'm guided by him.